We're back at it again. This is the first thing I say in the video. Oh god. This is probably gonna be the best thing ever. Hello guys, it's Lily Philly Pony here, and welcome back to Frost Cup / Hijack Corpse Bride AU. It's the alternate universe of Corpse Bride with Hiccup and Jack Frost. So yeah, yay! Let's just get to the point. So I'm reading this fan fiction for fun because I barely have anything else to do. So we can start reading. Yay! And this is part 3, almost to the end. Oh dear, I really like this story. I have no idea why. It has somewhat of a bit of a charm to it. So, apparently we are in Astrid's point of view. I stare out of my window, hoping that I will see him appear out of the darkness. I would beg for his forgiveness, and he will say it. Might take a while. It might take a while, but he will in time forgive me. I would kiss him and confess my love. Then what? Live happily ever after, like in the tacky love stories? No, that could never happen. For the first time that I can recall, I found myself crying. I don't care if he will forgive me. I don't care if marriage goes off and he hates me. I just want to see him again. To see him smile like he used to hear his dorky laugh. However, I can't help but think that the worst has come to him. I hear that many us very types linger in those woods. Thieves and murderers drag their victims out there for the kill. Not to mention the stories of vengeful spirits and ghosts. I glance at the clock, nearly 11 p.m. The search party should be back by now. Hiccup, where are you? Are you all right? An image of Hiccup comes to mind, of him lost, tired, and confused, wandering seamlessly and aimlessly until he arrives to a tree with a rope dangling from its branches. He tied the nose from the rope and then puts it around his head and hung himself. His final words were, "You were right, Astrid. I am better off dead." A loud bang dragged me out of my vivid nightmare. I quickly dried my eyes and permitting them to entry, silently hoping it was Hiccup. No chance. Just their servant. "Young mistress, you are wanted downstairs." Now going back to normal point of view. As Astrid came down the stairs, Stoddard couldn't do anything but pace around the room nervously. This was the only time he had ever felt powerless to do anything. All he could do was send out search parties. Stoddard glared at Astrid as she son to his demise. Then again, he pondered. I did have a part to play in this. I did force this marriage upon him after all. Now he could only wait for his search party for the search party to return, hopefully with his son. He already has lost his wife. Now he stands to lose his son. Stoddard swore to Thor that should his son be found, that he wouldn't care about saving face and hold his son close, not allowing him to leave him again. It was just then that the search party had returned. Stoddard saw all the men he sent away, but not his lad. Gobber, who led the search, looked like he had seen a ghost. Stoddard, he began. You wouldn't believe it. Flashback time! Gobber and his men hadn't made it to the bridge. They hadn't dared to go in the center. Few made it back from such a place, only to see Hiccup standing there. His clothes were ripped, and he looked as though he would pass out at any moment. But relatively unharmed. Gobber was about to call out the lad until he saw someone he didn't know stand behind Hiccup. When Hiccup saw the boy, he panicked. Gobber knew something was wrong, but he couldn't move his feet. Looking down, he saw that his legs were frozen in place. Turning his attention to the bridge, all he could do was watch as the boy concerned poor Hiccup. Snow started swirling in spirals around him. He paled as he saw the boy kiss Hiccup as he passed out. The sudden snowstorm picked up as the boy turned to face Gobber. With a smirk, the boy shouted over the storm, "You had your chance. He's mine now." Hiccup's limp and fragile body fell into his arms, and the two boys disappear. End of flashback time. Okay. How many more? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't want this to be too long. End of flashback time. Okay. Stoddard was furious. How dare that boy steal his son? Instantly, his anger turned to fear and worry. His son had been spirited away. Thor save his soul? Astrid was beside herself with worry as well. Who was this boy? What could he want with Hiccup? She prayed as that he was safe and would find a way to return to them. In particular, her. Ooh. A scene change, Land of the Dead, normal point of view. As Hiccup slipped out of that pub, he made the discovery about this hellhole. It's not just a pub that's messed up, but the whole place. He ran as fast as he could. Hiccup, kiddo, where are you? Jack shouted. If you ask me, said Merida. Your boyfriend he's kind of jumpy. Jack turned to his ginger friend. He's not my boyfriend. Yet. The two girls giggled at that. Jack started to find Hiccup before he got himself hurt. Hiccup, where have you gone? He yelled. Merida patted his shoulder. I'll keep an eye out for him, she offered. Her keen huntswoman's eyes picked up movement in one of the alleyways. There he goes! He's getting away! Quick after him! She pointed. Hiccup, hearing that he had been spotted, ran as Jack thanked Merida and followed Hiccup in hot pursuit. Hiccup! He ran after the redhead until he lost track of him, pausing in front of the shop that sold body parts and bones. Yeah, he could understand why Hiccup was scared. To figure out which way he went. Then the bucket of hands pointed west. He thanked them before run after Hiccup again. Hiccup reached a dead end. He could hear Jack calling his name. Each time he did, the yells got louder and louder. Hiccup saw no other choice but to climb the wall. He was about halfway up the steep when he lost his grip. He felt himself falling. He braced himself, closing his eyes for the impact that never came. Instead of landing hard on the ground, which would break every bone in his body, he saw he found himself in a pair of warm arms. Opening his eyes, he saw that Jack was holding him in a mid-air bridal style. Jack sighed. You really need to stop running away. He floated to a viewing platform and gently placed Hiccup on the bench. Jack sat down next to him. Listen, I know this place is weird, but you get used to it, Jack said, trying to comfort Hiccup. Despite that he didn't get a response from the boy. Well, this is more difficult than I expected, Jack thought. Look, Hiccup said, I'm terribly sorry about what happened to you, and I'd like to help, but I really need to get back home. This is your home now. I don't see why would you turn to place why you would return to a place where they treat you like dirt. Chick replied. Hiccup was stunned. How did he know? Stalker! No, I'm kidding. He was about to say that it was none of his concern, but when Jack reached under the bench. Oh, I almost forgot. I have something for you. He said as he brought out a cardboard box with a blue bow on it and put it on Hiccup's knee. Reading Hiccup's confused facial expression, he whispered to him, "It's a sorry about whisking you away in the dead of the night present." Hiccup couldn't help but smile at that. Hiccup opened the box to find a pile of bones. Thanks, he said as he tried to close the box, but it flew out of his hands as the bones fell on the ground to resemble to a skeleton dog. Hiccup flinched when the dog brought over a collar and placed it on his lap. Hiccup finished when the dog... Did I already read that? Oh my god. I am terribly sorry, people watching this. I am terribly sorry, but I am bad at remembering things. Can't even remember what I read. What I just read, so that just gets me confused. You probably think that I'm bad in school, but I'm not. No. My report card is doing good. I'm just gonna read it again, whatever. Hiccup flinched when the dog brought over a collar and placed it on his lap. Hiccup read the name on the collar. Toothless? Hiccup asked. The dog jumped up and down next to his master. Toothless! It's you! It is you! Hiccup laughed while stroking his long-lost friend. The skeleton wagged his tail like crazy as he received affectionate hugs and pets from his master. This was just like the old times, apart from the fat, toothless lack of flesh, that is. I've missed you, bud, Hiccup admitted with scratching behind the dog's ears. He's kinda cute, Jack admitted, though his eyes weren't on the dog at all. Rather, his attention was on the boy next to him. He was glad to see the boy laugh and smile. You should have seen him with fur, Hiccup replied, permitting a small giggle. Then his smile began to fade from his face. My father never approved Toothless jumping up like this. But then again, he never approved anything. Jack frowned. I know the feeling. You may. No one could see me for about 300 years. So about 3 centuries. Because there's 100 years in a century. So if 300 years, that means 3 centuries, I felt so alone, believing that I was cursed to live without feeling love or having someone that I could trust. I don't want you to suffer like I did. Hiccup can only stare at Jack. Why? Why do you care? He asked softly, catching Jack slightly off guard. The white-haired boy turned to the redhead, reaching out and stroking Hiccup's Freckles' face. Because I do, he said. Hiccup blushed at that. Before he could say that made no sense to Jack leaned in. His face mere inches away from Hiccup's. He gently kissed Hiccup on the lips. Hiccup froze. His heart started pounding in his chest. He had never felt like this before. He found himself closing his eyes and kissing back. A small voice was screaming at the back of his head. He's a boy! You're kissing a boy! That's wrong! But Hiccup didn't care. It felt perfect. Jack's lips were cold. However, Hiccup didn't care. It still felt amazing. Jack wove his fingers through Hiccup's nearly shoulder-length hair, pulling him closer to deepen the kiss. Hiccup melted into the kiss. I kissed a boy and I liked it. Do do do. I liked it. How many more? How many more do I have? Oh, only 3. Oh my god. I only got 3 more pages. Yay! Yeah, I got it. Jack pulled away, staring into Hiccup's green eyes. I promise that I will never leave your side. I will protect you. He kissed Hiccup's forehead and hugged back and rubbed his back. All the while, Hiccup leaned into the taller boy, and closed his eyes again. Had he really found love at long last? He began to fall asleep in the boy's arms. It felt cold, but somehow he liked it. It made him feel safe and secure. The question of Jack's reason still lingered, but a new question joined it. Why did he kiss him? By the time he mentally asked himself that he had fallen into a deep sleep. We're going into Jack's point of view, and then that's the end of chapter 3. Part 3. Jack's point of view. I just lose control when I am with Hiccup, but I can't help but worry every time he strays from my sight. I want to hold him close and whisper and whisper sweet nothings into his ear. I want to hear that adorable laugh as well as see that smile, which is so cute that it should be illegal. I feel a need to protect him. Honestly, I am surprised he kissed me back. Maybe my charm is working. I hope so. I need his love as much as he needs mine. He just doesn't know that yet. Or does he? I was about to ask him, but I discovered the boy was asleep in my arms. Even when he is asleep, he is adorable. I smile at him as I picked him up and begin carrying him to my apartment. I just hope one day he will love me too. Okay, well that was interesting. I think I'm losing my voice. What? So, this is like the end of part 3. Woohoo! I hope you guys like this fan fiction. I really do. I really do hope that you really love this fan fiction. But anyways, guys, this is the end of part 3. So, I'll see you guys in the next video.